Welcome back again. My name is Jeff at the GSM workshop with the current restorations I'm doing, but this one we're going to concentrate on the Volkswagen bus doing. So the last video, in my time it's not published yet, but will be this weekend. I want to update what I've done and the discovery of more rust. Yeah, this is a bus that does not stop giving in a way of rust. So let me turn you around and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, let's slide under the bus and I'll show you what I've done underneath. I talked about showing you rust on this panel here. This is not welded in yet, it's just placed in. You may notice I don't have the heater tubes coming down from the engine. Here's remains of one of them here. I'm not having the old air heating system in. It was just far too rusty to economically do again. So I'm doing something else. I'm going to put a diesel heater in and an electric heater in the front for this. But you can see a lot of surface rust. And when I cut this out, all the dust and rust fell on top of me. It was awful. But to get this out, I basically used an air chisel to do it all along, so that way I could get in there, and I used my grinder with a disc on it as well to cut off the bits and pieces. And this little bit of modification, and this fitted in. So this has gone in quite well. I'm quite pleased with this. So far so good. But if I spin around here, this is where I discovered more rust. I'm on a little car creeper right now, and you can see here, this is just rotted through. I didn't see this before because it was just covered up in mud and dust and whatever, grime, and it's really rotted out. So my options are to either buy a new one, which from my supplier, which is CIP1, California Imports. They have a depot in Canada, and it's about $60 Canadian to buy a new piece, which is not too bad. I was quite prepared to do that. But like I said, I'm not using the heater ducts anymore. Go through here. So I thought, you know what? I got the steel, and it's not too long. I think it's about 24 inches from here to here, and I can do that myself. I'm gonna fabricate my own, which would be a solid piece. I think it'll be tight if I have all these holes in here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this out. I'm gonna measure this first and fabricate a new one up. Then I'll cut this out and get covered in dust again, and I'll put a new piece in. So the goal is, I was thinking, is I want to get this from this section back painted. There's a few things I need to take out. There's the control linkages for the old heater controls. There's a little magneto, or not magneto, coil for the heating, the big heating system that was in here. Get this all out and just tidy up underneath, and get rid of this Coke can which covers up, which I did not put in, with one of the heaters in here as well. I just want to get this de-rusted and painted from that section backwards. That'll be good progress underneath. So get rid of all the stuff off that's underneath here as best I can, and we'll get it rust proofed and painted, and I will show you that part as well. I'm not too sure how long that's going to take, but anyway, I'm going to show you on this video how I fabricate up that piece there. So far I'll get back to you as I start getting bits ready. Hello, welcome back. I'm not too sure if you can, how clearly you can see this. These are my dimensions I'm working to. Across the top lip, which welds to the body up this way, I'm making 1/2 inch. The down portion is 4 inches. It's 1 3/8 across the bottom, and I'm making a channel section. but I'm splitting it in two. So all I'm making is this part and this part, and I'll weld it together. Its total length is about 24.5 inches long total. So I'm looking down on it now. This is like the plan elevation, looking down. So this is across the top, and this is what bolts to the side of the chassis down there. So again, I'm making these little side pieces 1/2 inch long. So my cut piece is 25.5 inches by 5 3/16, and there's two off of those. So yeah, I'm working in imperial. I know Canada is mixed dimensions, and I made my first piece. I just wanted to prove the design first. You can see. Okay, so this is my bending brake thing. The sun is very bright here this morning, just shining from my window, so I'm going to get some glare. I'm sorry about that, but I'll show you how I do it the best I can. I have, where has it gone? I have my piece cut, and I put my first bend in, which is the 1/2 inch bend. One up goes up against the body. So what I do is I actually bolt it down, clamp it down on here, and bend it. So what I'll do is I'll just pause you and I'll show you how I bend it. So the first stage is to line up your bend line against the line on the brake. Then this part goes on top. I then have all the clamps to clamp this down on top. I've got a lot of clamps because this is quite thick for my my bend here of this length, and I'll show you. So what it is, I'll pause you again and I will clamp it up and I'll show you how it's bent. It goes okay. Let me just show you that. I'll clamp it up and show you. Okay, I've got it clamped up, as you can see. Again, the sun is bright on here, nothing I can do about it. My windows are south facing. The sun just pours in here. A lot of clamps. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clamps on here because, like I said, this is a little bit on the heavier side, and I think it's actually designed for this little bending brake. It's a cheap little thing, Chinese thing. You get from, in the States, probably Harbor Freight. Here in Canada, we use Princess Auto. I think in the UK, there's another company, which I can't remember for now. So it's easier to bend. Start with the bigger side here and clamp the small side. So I just push up. See, it's a little bit of effort because of that. And I use a square just to see how far I've gone. Just go just a tad more if I can. You know, just press it by hand. Okay, that should be the first one done. So now repeat and do the other side, and I'll show you that as well, the finished product. Okay, now we're going to do the reverse bend on there. it's lucky enough I can slide this in to do that. There's enough depth here to get over the width here. All my clamps are on, down very, very tight, because what can happen is this clamping plate, if it's not clamped tight enough, will slide back and it ruins your bend. So I've got a lot of clamps on here and they're down very, very tight. So let's do the last bend. Let's see how that goes, how it all lines up. So it is on the maximum, about the maximum I can really bend on here, but it does do the job. Again, check it with a square. Actually, I made a tad too far, so just bring it back a little bit. Get it squared up. Still a little bit too far there. That one's good. So you just tweak it. This is what you do when you haven't got all the proper gear, but you get a good job done. That's good. That one's just a tad there. Perfect. There we are. It is now done. And I'll clamp it. Like I said, these are up, the clamps are fairly tight. So, the question is it easier to buy a $60 part than it is for me to make it? Well, the fact that this is just a straightforward bend and I can do it now without waiting for shipping. I have the steel on hand, I've got the equipment, and it's fun to do. I'm going to use all my G-clamps up. Bring this out. I think you can there see I now have my section bent, and I'm going to have to mark this out. This will go, if you can see okay, these two bits will go together like so. And what I'll do is I will just tap the bottom edges in for assembly, and the next job to do is actually cut out the end flanges, and I'll do that next. And I'll show you I think I'll just show you the finished result. So I've done the return bends on the end of the other one and this one as well. I was going to do this one. I'm just going to show you what I did. Carefully measured the length inside, which is kind of tricky. It would turn out to be 24 3/16 inches, and I've trimmed it off to that, plus ½ inch where I cut it, and now I've marked out, you can see the mark line where my ½ inch flange will be return. I'm just going to bend it. The easiest way I found to bend it was in my vise, because I've got these two flanges on the end. Makes it kind of tricky. Tricky part is make sure you know which way you're bending it. So I marked everything up so you can see I put in here inside, and I put on here top. So I know which way I got to bend it, and there we go. So this one is going to be bent this way. It's going to be bent over. So I just put it in the vise up to the end of the vise, mark it on the lines, and bend it. So am I bending it the right way? And I'm not bending it the right way. So I turn it around and I do it on this side. Hang on. What am I doing? I'm just going to bend it this way. Yep, that's the right way. So always double check, always take my time doing this. I want to make sure I get it the right way. It comes down, I just bend it, that's correct, 90 degrees, and I just use a hammer just to tighten the bend up a little bit. And there I have it. I have a pretty good formed bend. I have half the channel section. Now, while I'm here, this is the top where it goes into the car like this. On one side, I have to drill a hole for the brake line to go through. So I'm going to do that before. And I think on the other side over here, I have a hole for the wiring loom to go through. So I will drill those before I install it. And on the top, there's some notches to cut out for various bits of tubing and things to go down there, which I can do later on when I place it in there, and I'll mark it out and I just cut them out. Then I will weld them together underneath. I'll just put some couple of tack welds in and drill a couple of drain holes in here and here, let any water go through. Oh, I'm going to also paint inside of it as well. I need to paint, rust proof it inside. There we are, that's it so far. The next little clips I will show you it welded together, and I'm not going to show you me chiseling out underneath because it's a pretty mucky job. But I'll show you how I'm going to install it and how it's going to fit. So far so good. Keep watching. This is my fabricated channel I made for the cross member on the front down there. So it's all ready for welding in. Turn it over, painted. See where I just welded it. It's quite strong. So that's ready to go in. Got the end flanges on, ready for plug welding, and we have the cutouts for the brake lines and clutch cables and other ancillary things that go down there. And this is for, that one's for the wiring loom in there to go in. So it's all done. All I've got to do now is cut out the rusty piece. I'm not going to put that on video because it's just way too dusty to do that, but I'll show you when I got it ready to go in, and hopefully I can get this one in and the other one in today. Keep watching. Okay, welcome back to the next section. This is the front cross member I took out, and as you can see it's really rusty, rotted out, and I showed you how I fabricated up a new one. So that is out. These are the controls that go to the back, which I'm not going to be using, so they're coming out. And this is rusty brake line, which I'm going to dispose of. Right, let's have a look under the car, and we will see what I have done. Okay, starting with the front one. You can see the length view here and down the side. I just recently put some paint over it, I'm not going to touch it, but you can see, get this tube out of the way, so mold it in. Now, I will say this was a hard job. And on the back, again, this is a hard job as well. And this is the rear one. All in, secure. So, that's where I got today. This was a good day's work. I hate welding underneath the car. You can hear me scraping on the roller. We'll see how this looks. That's the other side of it as well. Yeah, so that job is done. Next job is to get a wire brush, get rid of this Coke can, probably just fill that hole in, and I'm going to be wire brushing and cleaning from that front cross member to the back, probably all the way to the back. I'm going to be spraying the Cure Rust I use on this, and take it from there. So that's the end of this video really. That's a good section done. Next job, apart from doing the rusting underneath, I may jump up on top and I will finish off the welding in for the rocker panels on that side there. Thank you for watching so far. This was not a fun job doing underneath there. Hate welding underneath cars. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe and all that good stuff. See you soon for the next section. Bye now.